Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the I Do Music podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. And on today's episode, we sat down with producer and songwriter Tasha Catour discussing her start working with Future on Astronaut Status to now working with Keke Palmer, learning the music business, and overcoming life circumstances to pursue her dream. Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the I Do Music podcast, and I'm sitting down with artist, producer, songwriter Tasha Catour.
Yes, ma'am. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yes, thank you for coming. We finally made it happen. We've been talking about this for probably about a year. Just getting you on. You're my very first female producer, slash, all around talent. So I'm really excited. Not even up and coming after researching and seeing like all that you've done over the years. I think now is like the time where you're starting to get your due justice, honestly, or it's happening. It's happening, right?
Yeah, man. I feel like it's been a process, but I feel like it's made me a better musician and just a better person overall, and just navigating, this industry period.
Right, yeah. Exactly. East Point, Atlanta, Tri-Cities. Yes, absolutely. I get really excited when I have talent and creatives here that are actually from the city, because at this point a lot of people are not. They're moving here. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, just first to begin, just so people can know a little bit about your journey. Before I start, if you don't know, she's worked with the likes of Keke Palmer, Future, Jeezy, Rocco, won a Grammy for working with Lecrae, which we'll talk about later. But just to give people an idea of who Tasha Catour is, she's that girl, okay?
Yes.
So starting early on, like, why music for you? What did that look like? Like, I know you grew up in the church,
right?
As a lot of us did.
I mean, I always had this just like keen, like magnet type of situation with music. Like even when I, like lately I've been, going through something like personal. So I just like to even write. It's like therapy to me, like writing songs and just expressing it through music and melody. It's a therapy. It's just something I can't get away from.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And even though I'm not like necessarily on the talent side, it's just like very therapeutic, a healing, even these conversations I feel like are that for me.
Yeah.
So early on, like, what were those influences for you? Like, who were you looking to? Like, dang, I know I could do that. I want to do something like that.
Definitely, Esther Dean, I would have to say. Seeing her looking like me and doing big stuff, like just, conquering things that I couldn't imagine. You know what I'm saying? Definitely Babyface, his sonics, the way his music sound, the way it makes me feel, makes you feel. I guess I want to dream. I can't leave the dream out. I love the dream. He's just everything.
Yes. And Brandy.
Oh, Brandy, of course. Oh, damn, hold on. I'm tripping. I love Brandy. Like, now, that was probably my first, as far as wanting to be a singer. When I first started, I guess everybody wanted to be an artist, in the beginning. So just starting off, just seeing Brandy, I guess was the same way I feel about Esther Dean. It's at a magnitude with Brandy. It's like
her voice,
she embodied everything. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But actually seeing, Esther Dean do the background and actually, navigate the industry like I would like. It's those people.
That's dope. That's dope. And I know you were able to get your own studio, or like create your own studio at the age of 19. How? Because that's like a very, coming out of high school, I know you went to college, you went to Alabama State.
Right.
But just like coming out of high school, that's not the first thing that young people usually think, like, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and create my own studio, get my own studio popping.
Yeah, definitely. I got to give thanks to my mom, because my mom, she believed in me and she invested in me.
Nice.
She was a millionaire at the time, so it was nothing.
Wow. What'd your mom do?
She was a tax specialist. She owned her own chain of tax services.
Oh, nice.
All through East Point.
Nice.
And she had some money, so I was just like, I want to do music. So I was like, these are the tools I need. I didn't want to be, dependent on, studios or time frames or anything. I just wanted to be able to create my own stuff and just figure out how to work it from the bottom up.
Right.
Be the engineer, the producer, the a songwriter.
And you learned how to do all of that yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Self-taught?
Self-taught. Mm-hmm.
What were you doing? Like, were you on YouTube? Like,
when I first started, YouTube wasn't
even a thing,
No,
right?
no. I learned how to produce from YouTube. I do give YouTube a credit for my production. But engineering was just like trial and error. I was just clicking on shit and just figuring it out, plugging stuff in. And, just also, some of my buddies, they had a studio too. I just call them up and say, hey, this message is popping up. What
does
is
that
this?
mean?
And just, going through the motions.
So early on, how did you even like connect with people in the music business? Like, because you were young, like starting out, I don't know when it exactly started for you, when you were like, I'm solely investing into music. And then obviously going to a school like Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
It's a performing arts school here in Atlanta. So those things, I'm sure, kind of got it buzzing. But for you to say, okay, hey, I'm going to invest. One, your mom invested in you. Shout out to mama.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then from there, how were you building relationships with people inside the music business? Was it like school? Was it hanging out? Like,
So actually, I went to school in Alabama, Alabama State. Shout out to SU. I went to school there, and I'm from Atlanta, so I kind of knew a couple of people. I knew. Shout out to Beatmaster Mark. I got to give him the credit because he really was the first person to actually take me around. He introduced me to Future, like what was Rich Kids was popping at the time, Shop Boys popping at the time, the futuristic sound.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah. That was a thing when I really started was able to, get from under my mama and just branch out and be a young adult or whatever. So I was moving around with him and I actually was coming down from college back and forth during during school on the weekends. I would come down. Had a little boyfriend, I'd come down to see him, and I'd go to the studio.
Right.
So and then how else? I think MySpace or something was popping at the time as well. So I would just hit artists up in their little message, and I would say, hey, can I write a hook for you? And I would just, try to offer something, just pretty much, give before you take. So you offer a hook, then the artist on your hook, and he rapping on your verse, and you put on these mixtapes, which were popping at the time.
Right.
And that just kind of, build a presence like that. And then I guess my break was when Future put me on I was on his first 4 mixtapes, just vocally. And then, but the first 3, he didn't put my name on it, because that was a thing.
Why?
Girl, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird, but I don't know. I think it was a theme back then, because even like Tupac records, you would see Danny Boy, but you really don't see all the good female,
vocalists on it.
That you don't even know who them people was for unless you really knew them. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it wasn't a thing to say feature people, especially, if I wasn't signed to him at the time. I wasn't signed to him. And it just, things have to make sense. I understand business. So that probably was, had something to do. But the last one I did for him was Rider, the last hook I did for him. Well, it wasn't a hook. It actually was a third verse.
Astronaut
and he
says.
put my name on it. I actually texted him. I was like, hey, put my name on it this time. Sometimes, you get what you ask for. You got to actually say it. Sometimes people just don't be thinking, too, sometimes. So,
Yeah, you
sometimes you have to make it known. So I texted him. I was like, hey, put my name on it this time. What's up? Fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? So he did. He put my name on it. And after that, it just trickled down. And I was a hook girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody was calling me for hooks at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a pivotal, because when I went to school, that was Tony Montana had just got to up north, right? But we have been listening to all his mixtapes for a long time in Atlanta.
Exactly.
But that was Astronaut Status, that mixtape, and that's when you feel like it kind of took the right turn.
People started to see, who I was and started to look me up and, take me seriously.
Did you expect that Future would be where he is now when you were working with him at the time?
Oh, hell yeah. I knew he had it. He had something special. He gets it. Melody is pretty much everything in music. I mean, lyrics are, second best in my book. Melody, he's very melodic. You don't even know half the words he's saying, but the melody just makes you feel some type of way.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, just even why Atlanta is such a special place for music and for creatives, in your opinion? Because when you talk about melodies or you talk about artists here, especially, most times people don't know what we're saying. Right. You know what I mean? We understand because we're from here. We can talk that language, but like a lot of people don't know what they're saying, but they're drawn and they're gravitated to what's happening in Atlanta. Why do you think that is? What's so special about the scene, the space here?
It's a lot of things I feel like what's special about Atlanta. The community vibe is very, it's like no other. Like even when I was in Alabama, it's like a crab in a bucket type of mentality. And here it's not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody fucking with everybody. We vibe. And if the energy is right, we good. Like it ain't no, it ain't no, I mean, it's gonna be hate everywhere, but I don't feel like it's that prominent here as it is in a lot of other places.
A lot of people who say they're from the outside looking in, or they're moving to Atlanta and trying to get into the space, say it's very cliquish, though. Do you think that is true? Because I don't really feel that. I feel like we support what comes out of here.
Yeah.
But I can understand.
We gonna fuck with who we fuck with. Like that's why I said, as long as the energy right and the energy match, like
yeah,
like I mean. It's everywhere. I feel like,
I agree.
You can't really, it ain't cliquish. I feel like, oh man.
I agree.
I don't know, if you got a good sound, people gonna fuck with you.
Facts.
It's a dick riding city too.
Facts.
So just be on your shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right. How do you feel that Atlanta has challenged your ear, or like your how has it helped your ear for music?
It's definitely my sound with like the 808s and stuff like that. I've been, listening to 808 since Kilo, and the way, Raheem the Dream and the whole vibe, and just listening to the 69 Boys. It's sounding like it's Miami stuff, but just this southern feel. You know what I'm saying? It's always been real for me, and 808 always did something to me. You know what I'm saying? So just being here, that's all I heard. You know what I'm saying? Mostly. You know what I'm saying? And just rhythm a lot, like LaFace, I feel like they played a big part in my sound too. Just having them real feel good, touchy melodies on top of them hard ass drums.
Exactly.
Mixing it together.
Yeah. How did you go from because initially you wanted to be a singer, you wanted to be the artist, and then going from that to writing the hooks to songwriting and now producing? Like, how did we make those transitions for you? What was it? Or do you still have? Because you dropped a project called Poetic Pen, and that was in 2011. Why are you looking like that?
I know this. It's funny to think about it.
Is that something that you're still interested in doing, like making music for yourself, or it's mainly like you've transitioned?
If I do it, it'll just be like I was saying, like therapy. It won't be to be,
the artist.
Yeah.
Why?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I got anxiety and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like being a mastermind
behind it.
I just feel like I get so much more credit. I can last longer too. You know what I'm saying? Like, artists don't last a long time, and some of them do, but it's rare. It's a lot of I don't know. I just feel like this is my calling. You know what I'm saying? I feel so much more comfortable in this skin.
That's cool that you. What made you realize was it by doing it that was like, okay?
Yeah, of course. I tried it and I did it, and it just being up there, it just ain't. I don't feel comfortable. Some people like, I'm get on stage and I just you know what I'm saying? I don't get that feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But let's talk about that debut project though. When you released Poetic Pen, you got some big acts on there, Big Crit, Ross. Like, look at who they are today. You know what I mean? So that how were you able to bring them on to your project and working with those people, and just even how did you feel at the time releasing that?
Just sending them hooks out, like with Trina and Rick Ross. I was working with different producers, and sometimes I would be able to get the records back, and they wouldn't drop them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what do you do with this? You don't just let it be waste.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now you can just throw them up on DistroKid, but back then you just put them in a mixtape and just put it out there and see
what it does.
What type of traction we can get.
That's fire. So upon like working with Future, I know that eventually, Epic embraced you, A1 and Epic embraced you from the label perspective, because they were impressed by just like you, I guess, spitting out all these hooks and like being involved in what Future was doing. And then he eventually signed you to his publishing company.
Right.
What was that move like? How did that help you, if it did? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, I feel like it broadened my horizon. Future showed me another perspective, another side of music. Like as far as like
The business.
definitely the business, and like just seeing what it could do and where it could take you. Like I knew him before all of this. I seen him in the studio just doing 6-7 songs a night, just doing it, just to do it. And then when I seen where it took him, and he the label, like they used to let me come to LA and just work out there and catch a new vibe. I never really flew for real before that, so it just showed me, what I'm saying, like, your gift can really make room for you. Like, you really can move some mountains with this music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the greatest gift I got from that situation. And just learning. I learned a lot about the business and actually publishing and copyrights and mechanical, all this, how it actually works. The master side, the publishing side. Like, I didn't understand that stuff before. And I felt like it made me go and read. You know what I'm saying? And just research. Because I was trying to figure out what type of situation I'm in. Outside and not even knowing, just thinking about opportunity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's cool sometimes, but you actually got to be smart. You got to be intellectual with your decisions and your discernment in this industry. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like you've ever been in a situation, or had you ever been in a situation where you didn't understand what was going on in terms of like deals or like the business, and how did you resolve, or I don't know, like that side for you specifically, but I know a lot of artists and songwriters and producers struggle with understanding the business, and then from there, like may get themselves in situations like how do you get yourself around that? Like what was the first steps for you in terms of like establishing yourself as a business personally?
Just really sitting down and be like, I'm tired of getting fucked over. I'm tired of not knowing what the fuck motherfuckers talking about, or why am I not getting paid? You know what I'm saying? Like, I done wrote all these songs and did all this stuff, but I ain't making no money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess that point in my life where I was like, okay, I love this shit. Like, I'm going to do this stuff regardless, but it's like, it got to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I feel like once I, had my baby, I really was like, I got to understand this. You know what I'm saying? Even when I started doing beats, I still didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I understood how to make beats, but I didn't know the business side of it. But when I was like, I got to figure out, feed my baby. So it's cool to write songs and make beats because I love it. But sometimes she got to eat, you know what I'm saying? So I really was just like, man, I'm finna buy some books about, everything you need to know about the music business. I read that. And I just went crazy on YouTube and just, a whole bunch of articles on, online, and just was reading and just asking people too. Sometimes we just don't ask, and just having good counsel around you, like people who actually don't mind telling you, hey, this is that and that's this, this is this. That's it.
And the times that, because I know you were quoted saying, when things seem to get real, real rough, like, okay, let's talk about you getting your first Grammy, winning a Grammy. Like, before that, leading up into that point, what sorts of sacrifices were you making? How were you being challenged? Music, and the music, a lot of times the things that we don't talk about are like the personal stuff, or like how we deal with anxiety, or how we deal with when things happen, or having a child in the midst of trying to pursue your dream.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? But just how do you? What kept you going? Like, what was the driving force for you to say, what, I invested this much time in this, I'm not gonna stop here, and then to see what comes of that be like your first Grammy.
Well, it's crazy because it didn't really roll out like that for me. I kind of got the Grammy before I realized all these things about myself and how great I could. That was coincidental. It just.
How did that come about?
Because I was just out. Well, not coincidental, I wouldn't say. It was just in the right place at the right time, and being talented and everything. I feel like it was, of course, it was due to me, but it was like, I feel like it came before I really did a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? I was really just, I was working with Lecrae, and we was writing. I was working with Dunlap. Shout out to Dunlap. Shout out to Street Symphony. These are producers.
Street Symphony was on this podcast.
Yeah, I love him. That's my buddy. He really, put me in and showed me a lot of stuff. Yeah, just working with them and, and their greatness, and it just trickled down on me, I felt like, at that time. But, of course, a lot of sacrifices had to be made, like, just in this industry, period. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, you doubt yourself. I have social anxiety. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like being around people a lot. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird sometimes. But I do know that it's detrimental to my career. So I'm coming out of my shell more and just being more, just showing my light, you know what I'm saying, to everybody instead of just who I want to show it to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
it get deep.
You could imagine, you would be surprised how many people deal with that who you never even imagined. So, you could probably have
they don't even know that's what it is.
Right.
I tell you, honest the truth, I found out this morning that's what it is. My sister called me and she was like, I was reading these little memes and stuff, and it was talking about social anxiety, and I was like, that's you. And I said, damn, she sent me the stuff, and I was like, damn, this stuff it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And it was this morning, coincidentally. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew it's a feeling you get. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, is this going to go right or woo-woo-wop, but you don't know exactly what you think it's just, fear or just, the jitters or whatever, but it's anxiety.
Anxiety, yeah. I think we failed to talk about that side of things. I'd be curious to have like a round table about just like mental health in general. Because
I will be there. I like that.
Yeah, because it's just it's a lot that goes into it. A lot of times, even with this podcast, I know you probably were concerned or anxious about coming and like, what am I going to say? How am I going to talk about myself? But this is meant to be like that part of healing. So I hope that you get more out of the conversation for sure. Yes. So beyond the first Grammy, you were nominated for another Grammy working with Lecrae. Did you ever imagine that it would come from gospel music? Like, I know you singing in the church. That's kind of ironic.
Yeah, no, I could have never imagined. Like, I just
love
music.
Trap music.
Like I got my start in my, of course I have a real love for like secular music. You know what I'm saying? Because it make you feel the way, and gospel does too. But I never thought, it was kind of weird how that played out. But I'm grateful.
Right.
And I love music, period. So it's not like, and really it wasn't like a gospel-y song. It was really a love song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like love, positivity, love in there type of vibe.
Yeah. Well, Lecrae is like always pushing the boundaries anyway since he started his career.
So. I love that about him.
Yes, definitely. And he actually put a lot of, created a lot of opportunities for musicians,
and he actually paid. He does the right thing. I love you, Lecrae. Like he actually, they do, they do great business over there at Reach Records. I love that about them, and he, got me my start. I got my start over there, and I feel like he don't get to just do. People don't talk about him enough.
Yeah, I
agree. Know what I'm saying, or give him the. I see him, out at events and stuff, and. He really got this real humble spirit about him, and I like that too.
Yeah.
So,
What's the importance for you? Obviously we talked about understanding the business and things like that, but like keeping a good reputation and doing good business yourself, and also doing how others do good business with you, or just, how that could affect you if you do bad business.
Oh, it's very crucial that you do great business out here, because it's just, it seems big, but it's very small. And the people in the high places, you know what I'm saying, they control it all. So you just really got to keep your face card, keep it clean. And, sometimes, I could talk about this, like with beats, sometimes, like, it's a frustration because I sell beats, you know what I'm saying? So I have to play the beats for multiple artists, you know what I'm saying? So one of my artists might try it on, but don't actually buy it. It's like they don't want me to play it for other people, and sometimes they look at that as bad business. But it's like, I sell beats. You know what I'm saying? This is how I make my money, sir. So it's like, that's the only thing I wish could be like a little more cleaner. But other than that, yeah, definitely, I try to, smile and put it on for them. You know what I'm saying? Put the, person out, whatever, whoop, wop, and just, just create good vibes and, just keep good people around me, of course, but just, radiate the energy you want to receive.
Exactly. Absolutely. Speaking of just having to promote yourself or not sell yourself, but, sell your work, your product as a producer, what avenues or what ways do you do that? Because I know I sit with producers all the time. They might put them on the internet. At this point, you can put them on a site and people can buy from there, or they can lease beats. Like, are you interested in any of that? What's your process look like? Are you in the studio with artists? Is that what you prefer? I'm just trying to get like an idea of like how you work.
I feel like I'm a chameleon in that sort because I like emailing. I like being in the room. I like sending my manager the beats. I like whatever way we got to do it. You know what I'm saying? I like texting them. I just try to find new ways to get the beats to the people. Like, it's all about being clever, and it's about just getting the beats. Some people are like, they so tight with the beats. You got to get the beats out. You know what I'm saying? And see where they gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Just see what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I like the endless possibility of that. Like, just, I run into a lot of people like, man, I got 5 songs to your beat and I ain't never met them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's cool to me because it's like they getting out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you got them. Some people like, how you got my beats? Woo, wah. He could be making it a hit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
You're right.
I ain't really like, that's what I do love about, production. I didn't come in as, oh, these my babies. Like, with songwriting, it was more like that. And I was like, oh, but with beats, I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Because it's up for interpretation.
Right, exactly. You get it.
Yeah. Definitely. How would you describe your sound? Or like, someone was like, I need the Tasha Catour beat. Why do you think that they come to you for the beat? Like, why do you think, what is enticing about your production? I know you mentioned the real Southern, the 808s, but, for you, I'm sure you've evolved too since starting with production.
I don't know, maybe just my female touch. I got another ear. I got another feeling I'm gonna bring you. Like, it's just, mine just gonna be different. It's still gonna be, familiar but fresh. Just something, it don't have to be something drastic you turn, you change on the steering wheel. You just gotta, add a little leather to it. It's gonna be special. Just something that just makes it unique. I don't know, it's like a je ne sais quoi. It's not like something I could tell you I do. It's a feeling I bring, I hope. That's what I want to, portray.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of being a woman, like, how have you taken advantage of being a woman in the business? I know a lot of times we always harper on the fact that it's not enough of us in the room and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like, and I have for sure taken advantage of being a woman, not in a sense of like flirting or, but I mean, some girls do. And I was talking actually on a previous episode with Miss Arlinda Garrett about this. And she was like, I don't knock it if that's how you get, how you take advantage of being a woman, but in what ways? Like you say, maybe the female touch is why your beats are more special, or maybe just the energy you bring. But like, what other ways do you feel like you've been able to take advantage of that?
Well, I feel like me being a female producer is just like a niche already. Like, it's not a lot of us out here. And coming into this, I didn't even think about that side of it. I was just like, I want to make beats. It wasn't until I was at Crucial with Joe Gifted, and we was doing Water, and they were just doing it over and over. They was like, oh, Uncle, play it again. They did he performed it like 3 times, and the club just kept going wild. And then he got up on the mic, and he was like, and the girl made this beat. And I was like, damn. It didn't hit me until then. I was like, damn, here's a girl making beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, it's not, it's kind of rare. But it's not as rare. It's not as rare as people think. There's a lot of us out here.
Yeah.
But they don't get, they don't get the shine, and they don't get the praise that they need, or even the platform. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe one day I could set up some type of platform.
We've been talking about this. We talked about this last year. You don't even remember we had this conversation.
I'm sorry, girl. I smoke a lot of weed.
It was same. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, we've had a conversation about like having some sort of, not even a union, but like just like a roundtable meetup or something where, women, especially producers, can get together and like work together, collaborate with each other. And, even on the artist side, and having like that type of energy in the room. Like, obviously we don't dominate that space, but I do feel like even on the technical side, like the fact that you can engineer your own session. You know about the ins and outs on the technical side. That's not, now I'm seeing more female engineers even in this building, so that's cool to see. But I feel like if there were meetings or something more for you seeing someone that looks like you, or even how you mentioned before, seeing Esther Dean, like that gave you the encouragement to do what you do, right?
Definitely.
So seeing like young people even seeing that, I think will create opportunity.
And shout out to Molly over at Tree Sounds, like, because I feel like she,
Definitely.
like, the closest thing to something like that. Like, I've never been in a room with so many people who look like me and do what I do, and nobody, you know what I'm saying, even know, like, she brought us all together, all the producers, all the engineers, songwriters,
That's dope.
photographers, executive, publishing. People want to just, hone into that. Just put us all in one room, gave us panels, fed us, you know what I'm saying, free studio time. Like, shout out to Molly. Earth Girl. Real Earth Girl.
Oh,
shit.
yeah, Earth Girl. That's
Yes.
what I didn't even get to make. It was so much going on.
Girl, you missed out.
I know.
Oh,
I heard
God.
it was dope.
I made so many friends.
That's
It was a
what's
lot of like-minded women. And it was just beautiful. When no cattiness, everybody was just fucking with each other. It was a vibe.
Yeah.
On some other stuff.
I'm happy to hear that. And now we didn't even talk about where you were studying while you were at Alabama State, but I think it might add to like why you've been able to move the way you move. But you studied PR.
I did.
How do you think that has benefited you, just in terms of like building relationships even, or, marketing yourself? I know you have a social presence.
Oh, man. I really can't credit nothing to that, honestly, because
Nothing.
you know how you just go to school just to go? It was kind of that.
Yeah.
I didn't have no love or no, like, real engagement with that. Like, it was cool. I did it because I wanted to go to college and get a degree and have a backup plan, but I soon learned that you got to go for what you want. You know what I'm saying? So, and that wasn't it. It was cool.
What do you think you took from that then, if anything? Maybe the relationships, maybe the people?
Not even that. I don't even remember none of them people. I don't remember none of them lessons.
You was going home every weekend, though.
I was not focused on that. I know how to, keep my grades up and all that stuff. Of course, I graduated, but it's like, I really went into that. I can't I really.
I was just curious. I'm like, she had a PR background?
I know, right? It do make sense, but it don't.
But that's still a tidbit of just, going after what you want and not necessarily needing college. Because everybody
I don't think
need
you need college. Honestly, that's just my personal, opinion on it. But,
It's, for the music business, not necessarily.
Oh, yeah. Doctor, of course, or lawyer or something. But as far as, like, if you want to go out and just do some, like, creative, like, I don't, maybe, you mean, of course, the things you need it for, like, but, you know what I mean.
Yeah. What would you say your advice would be to aspiring artists that are trying to break through? Like we haven't even talked about all of the people that you've worked with, but you wrote for Tinashe, you've gotten credit working for artists like the Jeezys, the Roccos, and then most recently working a lot with Keke Palmer, which I think is dope. Especially, we talked about it off the record, but just all the things that she has going on. Any advice to aspiring artists or producers who are just trying to break through the business? Like, what were some things that you were doing that you could say, just looking back on your career, like, this is what I did to get in the room?
To get in the room?
I know you said that you had, like, a friend who introduced you to Future and those types of things.
Yeah.
So it might have been just, like, your personal luck and your relationships. But I think there's a theme, too, to, like...
No, definitely staying in it and, building a brand. Just like we talked about earlier, keeping your face card clean. Like, just doing great business and learning. Collaboration is key. Like, working with a lot of other producers, and I feel like they help me, just because really, essentially that it's a software. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're gonna put your own interpretation on it, but just learning the software and learning other.
What software do you use?
I use FL, Fruit Loops, and Pro Tools. That's a software. It's all just your interpretation on the software, but you still need to learn how to use the software. So collaborating with other people, I've learned so much. Like learning is the biggest part. And just, just going to the events. Introducing yourself, not being afraid to, sometimes be rejected. Because some of these artists are, bigger than life. And, you know what I'm saying, they ain't going to engage with you like you would probably want to. You know what I'm saying? But you still not being afraid to still push through that resistance and, you know, make your point or get that email or do whatever you need to do to get in that room. And then you just flood them until they say, hey, I like, you know, this one beat, and they say pull up. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about persistence. It's so many keys to this thing. Like, it's so intricate. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I would be lying if I told you it was like one thing you could do. It's so many, it's a lot of stuff. Relationships are very important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People always say that, but is you got to learn the art of, you know, fostering good relationships, and it's so much.
It
It's
is.
a lot.
It is. She like, I'm just doing it. I'm just Can I ask you at what point you decided that it was time to build your own team and like have people around you supporting you? I mean, I know you got your manager.
Shout out to Rico.
Shout out to Woe.
You got me in here today.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. I mean, you got good people around you, so that's amazing. But like, at what point did you say, okay, I need the team. I need to have management.
I've been with my management for like 7 years now, or longer. Woe been with me forever. Shout out to Lil Woe. He been down forever. So like,
Nice.
even before I even came back from college, like he would, you know, bring my stuff down to Atlanta because I wasn't because he moved here first. We both went to Alabama State together. That's where we
Okay.
met. And then, you know, he came and I was moving my stuff around here. You know, so he introduced me to Rico. So then they did, you know, a joint venture with me, managing me. And then just recently, I've been started working with Clay West. Shout out to him. He's been helping with me with the look, the aesthetic, the brand,
The marketing.
Just marketing. Yeah, just making it look good and making sure, the media part of it. And I'm learning it's very essential to having these, you know, components. Because you can't do it alone. Especially when you know, don't want to just be a bedroom producer. I mean, of course I'll do it. I'll make some money, you know what I'm saying? I got placements, but it's greater. I could be an example. I could be inspiration. I could be... It could be big, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, it takes a team. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you are an example, and you are paving that way. So don't feel like, you know, I know you. Well, oftentimes we knock ourselves because we feel like we haven't gotten to where we want to go. Right. But you know, you doing that every day that you say that you're gonna keep doing it, right?
Thank you, girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need it.
Absolutely. We always. Sometimes we do, bruh. Sometimes we do. So, let's talk about what you got going on right now. So, working with Keke Palmer, y'all just released a song. At this point, it's been out. Once we release this episode, it's been out for a minute. But
one day it'll be. Well, I don't know. Well, I guess when they be released,
we got a couple months before this come out. Yeah.
Okay.
So but the record just came out. That you
it's
worked
called
on.
Virgo Tendencies. It's like a boom bap type of feel. It's my first time like putting a record out like with a different, you know, a side of me. It's, you know, rather than my 808 and, you know, trap side, but actually showing my, you know, versatility. Like I can do a whole bunch of different sounds. You know what I'm saying? I don't just have to do trap or, you know, the Atlanta vibe.
Yeah. So are you like looking to expand different genres and do it all?
Definitely. I want to do it all. I be doing, you know, Afro beats. I love neo soul. I love jazz. I love, you know, reggaeton. I love all kinds of music. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to create it all. I don't want to be put in a box.
Exactly.
You know?
It's so limited, or limiting. What is it? You and Keke have done a lot already, and y'all continue to work together. What is it about y'all's like collaboration and y'all vibe that continues to have her coming back? Like, I need to work with Tasha.
I think she trusts me, and I love that. A lot of people don't trust you. They don't know. You know what I'm saying? That you know what I'm saying, can what you capable of pretty much. Like, she let me do my thing. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that about her. She's very just open to, you know, my perspective. And I fuck with it.
That's what's up.
Appreciate it.
What's the goal for you, like, overall? Are you still doing songwriting? Are you still, you know, working on utilizing the pen? Or are you mainly just focused on production right now?
I think once I had my baby, I was kind of like shying away from songwriting because he just wasn't loving me back like I would, wanted it to, as far as like paying me, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but now, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of omens been coming, like things have been telling me like, hey, you need to be, writing again as much as you used to.
Mm-hmm.
Like just being at 100%, you know what I'm saying, bringing it all together, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I started, but somewhere along the way, people start talking to you and, you lose your confidence or whatever. But now I'm trying to gain it back and just, you know what I'm saying, be that force that I want to be, you know what I'm saying? Because I can write a whole song and produce it. And, even though I love working with other people, I do love other ears, other perspectives. But, yeah, I want to do it all. I want to be 100%.
Yeah. I think it's interesting when you talk about writing as a writer, because that's like a foundation for me too, not necessarily songwriting.
Am I moving so much? I'm sorry.
You're fine. Okay, cool. You are totally fine. But I mean, from a writing perspective though, like sometimes you lose it. Like sometimes you are not in the mood and it could go for years, like you being like a little creative rut. But getting back to it, that at the core, that's that healing, that's that therapeutic, that's what, even if you don't sell the songs, even if you don't shop the songs, it's just good for you to have.
That's why I've been at right like that. But now I'm finna get back into, okay, this is a business, sis. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's make some money with it. But yeah, I've been just, writing to just get my feelings out. It's like a journal. But yeah. But
that's what's up. I'm excited for you. Now, talk about balancing being a mom. Being a mom and being in the music business, you got to go to the studio late. You got to go, you just got to make moves when you need to make moves, events, etc. Like, how are you able to balance having a child?
I got a really great support system, So I feel like that's like the wind beneath my wings with this. I couldn't do it without my mom and my fiance. They helped me out a lot with like, balancing like just, because it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? My job is not like 9 to 5, I go here or whatever. Even if it was like a 2 to 10 or something like that, or overnight, it's not that. It's anytime somebody call you and say they need beats or they want you to pull up or they want you to, because you can't miss the opportunities. And it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like I need to go to LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, I got a whole family here in Atlanta. So it's like, it's difficult even thinking about
sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice. Like, cause I feel like I don't know if I hit my ceiling for Atlanta, but I feel like it's greater things other places. I just need to get to those relationships, but just hauling my whole family and my husband quitting his job, it's a lot, girl.
It's a lot to consider. Yeah.
So I'm just working on trying to find that balance for myself too, and mama got a life too, so she got to be able to. Do what she doing, the fulfillment too, So just, that's kind of what I'm dealing with now, in my bubble. But yeah.
I think this conversation was right on time, and we'll talk off the record. But you don't want to miss the opportunity, but you also want to consider, the people who are leaning on you for support. But at the end of the day, we not living with no regrets.
Right, we're gonna take them all with me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I might have to just make it happen, but that's what it's about sometimes, just facing your fear. Because I think really what it is fear. Like, we could do it, but it's like, damn.
Especially the comfort of Atlanta. Like, Atlanta is very comforting.
We got a whole house, you know what I'm saying? Everything is perfect, you know what I'm saying? But just moving and it'll be a lot.
It'll be a lot, but it might be worth it.
It definitely could be worth it.
The bag could be worth it, girl.
Oh, my God.
You have everything you need here and there.
You're right, though.
Yeah.
It's about fear. Fear.
Yeah. Stepping out of that comfort zone for sure. Well, I'm excited. I mean, we didn't touch on a lot of the stuff that you've been able to work on, but I do want them to check out your discography from Nudie, Tokyo Jets, like some real Atlanta staples. Like I said, Rocco, Jeezy. I'm interested in those stories, honestly, but we probably need like a part 2 soon.
Okay.
You got a BET Award under Lecrae in 2015. It's a lot of dope things that have happened in I won't even say a short amount of time, but in this time frame for you.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what else is coming out.
Me too, girl.
She like, look, I'm waiting too.
Right.
And maybe I'll see you in LA soon too.
Yeah. Speak it.
Let's get it. So Tasha, tell them where they can find you, where they can hear more about your story, and hit you up if they need some beats.
Well, I'm on Instagram every day, so y'all can hit me up on Instagram. It's Tasha Tasha Catour Catour, and I don't really be on my Twitter, but I be on YouTube a little bit. I love YouTube, but just Instagram and YouTube are predominantly where you can reach me.
Nice. And thank you again, Tasha, for sitting down with me. As always, you guys can find this podcast at IDM Podcast on social media, as well as myself on all social media platforms at Sammy Approved. Thank you, girl.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Sonically superior.